how to make homeschool more fun. I was walking around this morning and I remembered this activity that made homeschooling super, super fun for one of my kids. And I wanted to share the story with you. It was 2015, and my family and I moved from California up to Washington State. And as a way to merge in to the local community, we put our kids in a few classes so that they could interact with other people. And lo and behold, we had caught the tail end of this series of classes that the local homeschool umbrella was putting on. And we had two kids in one class and then one kid in another class. Well, the younger kid, Stephen, saw the class that the other kids were taking. It was a paper roller coaster class. He was so bummed that he could not take that paper roller coaster class. And the teacher asked him at the end, actually, he asked if it was okay if he took one or two of the templates that the teacher in that particular thing was offering. And she was thrilled. She actually gave him an envelope filled with cardstock templates for this paper roller coaster. Well, he went to work. He was 9 at the time, and he started cutting and folding and taping and cutting and folding and taping. And he would disappear from the homeschool table, and I would find him up in his room folding and taping. Well, he started to assemble a paper roller coaster. Is making sure it's big enough. He started to assemble his paper roller coaster. Now, Stephen is the one in the white shirt. And then his older brother, Isaac, and the kids are older now. So Stephen's 9, and he starts to put together this roller coaster. Hours and hours and hours he worked on this thing. And I have to tell you that the other kids in the house ignored him until the roller coaster got to be about 6 or 7 feet tall. He wouldn't quit. Every second that he had, he would invest into this paper roller coaster. And I have to encourage you that sometimes homeschool becomes more fun because we give the kids the wheel. Does that make sense? I had no plans of doing physics with my kids at that age. But here Stephen was at 9, completely and totally self-motivated to cut and to tape and to assemble this paper roller coaster. Now, I dug deep into my pictures and videos, but I don't have a picture of the completed thing. But there were so many lessons that he learned inside of this project that he never would have, it just wouldn't have been the same if I had designed and crafted this activity for him. So I want to encourage you, when your kids dive into something, give them space to actually explore it. This roller coaster had this guy's attention, and I'm not even joking, for weeks on end. Now, granted, we were new in the community. He didn't have any friends yet. We lived kind of out in the boonies, and our house was in the woods, and so there were no neighborhood kids, and there was no school because we caught this class right at the end. So there was nothing that he could do during the week except homeschool. So I let him go, and I let him build this roller coaster, and I let it take the place of almost everything. Now, Stephen is my youngest, and he did not read until he was 10. And that's okay. We tried, but we just never pushed it. So he always, though, was very, very busy. In this project, he learned so much. so much. And I have it here. So he learned patience. This roller coaster was not a fast project. It was not fast. He would fold and build and tape, and then it would fail, and then he'd go back to the drawing board. So it taught him patience. He had to plan. He was working on this framework, asking for, where are my scissors and where is the tape, and can I use this space in the living room, and I think I'm going to try to add this aspect to the paper roller coaster. And he worked on it and worked on it for weeks and tested to see how things would work or not work. He also learned that as things got bigger, that he had to reinforce his design, otherwise it would topple over. But here was one of the biggest lessons, and that was that the coaching of this whole paper roller coaster, as he got deeper into the project, his brothers caught it was cool at this point. Stephen did all the framework. He did all the cutting. He did all the pre-assembling. And now big brothers tried to step in to take over. And having to encourage his big brothers to participate, but not take over his project, was a huge, huge learning skill for him. So when you want homeschooling to be more fun, sometimes you can be creative and you can add your own glitter and magic and make things more fun. Sometimes if you just step out of the way and let your kids go, they will intuitively and naturally blossom in a direction that you never imagined possible. I didn't plan for Stephen to create when it was done, it was like 9 foot tall. We had a 2 foot, wish I had a picture, wish I had a video. It was a two-story house, and he had the roller coaster so that when he was standing on the banister, like up at the, not standing on the banister, leaned over the banister, he could put the marble at the top and it would go all the way down to the bottom. Such an engineering feat and marvel for this 9-year-old. So when you are watching your kids, they're naturally going to gravitate towards something: guitar, gardening, basketball, a paper project, crocheting, making forts out of cardboard, cooking, painting, something. Give them space to actually do it. Give them time in their day to press past that little bit that we would normally give them in between lessons. Oh, go play for 10 minutes and then we'll come back and do math. Go work on is this a time that you want to work on your paper roller coaster? Go. And then just let them go. Make sure that you peek over their shoulder and that you encourage them and that they know that you are their biggest fan. You are their greatest ally. Remember, sometimes in order to make homeschool more fun, you need to push the school stuff aside and let the kids' imaginations take over. It's worth it. So lessons from a paper roller coaster. That's one of the lessons that really taught me that the kids are really good at making fun, educational activities for themselves. And as long as we don't sneak in and look over their shoulder and say, oh, look at the hands-on physics project that you just did. Did you know that you're learning about this and that? And don't sabotage the learning by labeling it in the moment. Instead, let them do it, and then another day, come back and use that activity, whatever that is, to reinforce whatever it is that you want them to learn. Does that make sense? So anyway, I hope you guys are able to look and watch your kids and to see them excited about something and then give them the space that they need to explore it and watch their learning and love for learning explode. Have a good day.